Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. In this video, we're looking at the MLB slate. We have, on paper, a 10-game slate. A couple of those are already postponed. The Yankees are postponed. Looks like the Red Sox might be postponed, and then we are potentially looking at some rain in Baltimore as well. A lot of rain in the Northeast right now. So keep an eye on the weather. Definitely don't want to get any of your players to be canceled. That would suck. But let's get started with the video. As always, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Looking at the totals and the lineups for the teams that will be playing today. We have a couple of teams in some decent spots. Obviously, the Toronto Blue Jays are probably the best stack of the slate. You could have made a case for the Braves. You could have made a case for the Red Sox, but those teams are a little bit more risky to play. I think Boston already got postponed, so no more stacking up against Kobe Allard. But we can still look to teams like the Blue Jays, who are going up against Drew Hutchinson. Guys like Corey Dickerson as a value play here. Look at the DraftKings. We have Corey Dickerson at only $3,100. You have Grichuk at $37. They got Gurriel back a couple days ago. He's only $3,800. Then we can always pay out for Bo Bichette, Vlad. So that's probably the best stack to go with on the slate. You got some nice one-offs in Cincinnati, like Tyler Naquin batting leadoff at only $2,900. You have Kyle Farmer at $3,500. We see the return of Chris Archer. It's been almost 2 years since he's pitched. He didn't pitch at all last season. He's only $7,900, but he's probably going to be on a pitch count. It's against a good White Sox team, so I'm not really looking at him too heavily. Maybe for tournaments, you can play him in a couple of lineups if you make a bunch, but he's definitely not on my list. We have the Brewers against a lefty, so guys like Avisail Garcia, Lorenzo Cain, going up to Willy Adames, Escobar, they look like a good stack. They are all very expensive, so I kind of like the Blue Jay stack a little bit more, and probably even the Astros stack a little bit more. They're going up against a lefty, so going to guys like Gurriel, Correa, Altuve, Aledmus Diaz is kind of an approach I like. You can throw in Maldonado at catcher, throw in Jake Miners, who's been hitting the ball pretty well. And the final team, from an offensive perspective, is the Cardinals going up against a lefty. Got some nice value hitters in here. You can go with Tommy Edman, hitting the ball well, batting leadoff, $3,500. You can go with Molina at catcher, go with Bader, O'Neill in the outfield if you wanted to. So looking back at DraftKings, at pitching, we only have a couple of good options, not a ton at the top. You have Framber Valdez, who is $9,800. He's been pitching pretty well for the Astros all season. He goes pretty deep into games. Usually see him go at least 6, at least 5. Sometimes he goes 6, 7. Good matchup against Seattle to get some strikeouts here. So definitely probably one of the better options on the board. You have Adam Wainwright right below him. He doesn't get a ton of strikeouts at this point, but did go complete game shutout against the Pirates a couple starts ago. Before that, he was pitching very well against some of the not great offenses, KC, Minnesota, Cleveland. But overall, he's actually been pretty surprisingly decent this year. Definitely not going to be looking at Means, Toussaint, Alcantara. I like some of these guys in the 8K range. You can go with Vladimir Gutierrez, who's $8,000. He's been on a roll. 18, 23, 23, 23, 19 in his last handful of starts. Started off the season pretty poor, but ERA down to 3.87. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts, but this Marlins offense is not very scary at all, minus a couple of hitters. So I think he can navigate them at 8,000. He makes some sense. Same thing with Steven Matz. He's $8,200. He gets you about a strikeout per inning. Goes somewhat deep into games. He kind of runs into some trouble with the pitch count because sometimes he gives up a handful of walks. But overall, another guy that you can plug in at 82. Him and Gutierrez are my favorite in that 8K range. I don't see myself going cheaper. I don't see myself really liking anybody that's at the bottom here. Maybe you can go Brault, Anderson if you play a bunch of teams, but they are definitely not cash plays. So for me, going Valdez, going Gutierrez, kind of like that approach. You can throw in Matz if you wanted to instead. And after the bats, really looking at some of these Blue Jays guys, I do like the price tag on Bo Bichette. He comes in as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as the 6th most expensive shortstop on a slate where his team has the highest total. I know he's been struggling a bit, but he's still been very good. Overall, 284, 20 bombs. He gives you some stolen base upside, 18 on the season. In a matter of time before he starts hitting the ball really well again. Great matchup against Detroit here. In the outfield, you got another good value play from the Blue Jays. You can go Corey Dickerson, who been injured for part of the season, but overall he's having a pretty good year. 260, 4 bombs in only a handful of games. Sometimes he comes in as a pitch hitter. But overall, recently he's been doing pretty good. 2 bombs in his last 27 at-bats. Gives a little bit of speed, but not really known for that. But lefty-righty matchup here. Guy with some power. Hits the ball very hard against righties. And hopefully get some RBI opportunities, get some run-scored opportunities today. Now we move on to one of my favorites from the Houston guys to target. I've been playing him a ton if you watch the videos. Aledmys Diaz, been all over him all season. He's been having a great year. 375 in his last 10 home run gives you a good amount of power as well, with 7 home runs in just 204 at-bats. Overall, he just makes good contact. Always seems to be in position to maybe pick up an RBI or two. He gets a bunch of hits. 5 hits in his last 2 games for him. And price tag is still very fair. He's one of the better priced Astros on the slate. And then last but not least, going to a guy like Tommy Edman I like. Batting leadoff, you can play him at outfield or second base. Whatever fits kind of your lineup construction. I like to get him in outfield just because you got some other good second base options if you wanted to. But Edman, overall, he's been hitting the ball well. 3 straight 2-hit games for him. Probably will bat leadoff today. Switch hitter with definitely a lot of speed. So getting to a guy like him and even Bo Bichette, maybe they can steal a bag. They both have some power, especially Bichette. And Edman, maybe we'll see 5 at-bats today, similar to Bichette. So that's about it for the DraftKings side. Still leaves you with plenty to spend on the remaining spots. Let's take a look at FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel here, basically looking at a couple of teams. The Blue Jays and the Astros are my favorites on the slate. I think the Cardinals come in third. The Brewers probably come in tied for third or fourth here. Those are the teams I'm really looking at from an offensive perspective. I like the price tag on Bo Bichette and Corey Dickerson, especially on both sites. And then Altuve, 37, just been hitting the ball well. We know how good he is against lefty, so I have a lot of interest there. And Yuli Gurriel has a nice mid-range first base option with a bunch of power, hits for high average, and he's also very good against lefties. And then pitching-wise, you can go Valdez over guys like Gutierrez just by only $1,000 more, so I kind of like doing that on FanDuel. And that's about it for the video. Quick little Sunday slate here. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Best of luck today, and I'll see you all next time.